welcome to SpainISH. This is a podcast where we talk about our lives in Spain. My name's Molly. I live in Madrid, and my co-host.
Toni, I live in Alicante.
Today, we are going to be talking about what we ate as kids, eating at home versus going out to eat. Did we eat healthy as kids? What was our typical breakfast like? Our favorite foods as kids, treats and junk food, and school lunches. A lot of exciting things to compare.
It will definitely be. And I just want to point out early on, even though we were kids, there were other things than candy that we ate. We're going to go through the whole spectrum of what we can remember, at least. I can't answer for like the baby food phase from like 1 to 3, but after that, I have a pretty clear opinion.
Same. But before we get started, you're listening to this, comment, subscribe, like, share it. We really appreciate it.
Think of this as Reddit, where you're allowed to put some unfiltered stuff, but it would be highly appreciated if it was somewhat constructive as well.
Yeah, or make sense. How is it going, Tony? What's new?
It is going very well. We're entering, or I guess we started Semana Santa, Easter week, and I am not doing anything specifically. Like I'm gonna go into the center and look at some of the procesiones there, like the people walking in the streets, like Catholic related ceremonies. I'm gonna look
Mhm.
at some of it. There's some social events that they put on, like this burger championship. It's like,
For
even
Semana
though,
Santa?
yeah, they have it here at the same time.
Really?
Yeah, like, of course, even though there's not that many bank holidays, more people do have time off. Why not put on events like that so that the parents can bring kids, or just other people can have an excuse to get outside, meet up a bit.
Mm,
So no, I like things are going well. I'm studying, working, having a week that's a tad more chill, and gonna socialize accordingly.
sounds good. Semana Santa here. As we've talked about, we have a video about Semana Santa. Is a very big thing in Spain, and I love it. It's probably my favorite thing that Spanish people do, like the my favorite tradition that they have.
Are you specifically referring to some of the procesiones that are going through the streets?
I love the atmosphere. It's so cool to see like, so many people in the streets. Normally, I don't like crowded places, but I don't mind it because everybody is so like mesmerized by this figure of like Jesus or Mary or the
And the
Virgin.
and the ambience is a tad calmer as well versus like the Three Kings in January.
Right. Yesterday, I went to see some of them in Madrid, which I'd never done before. I'd only ever seen them in Sevilla. And I was expecting more of like in Madrid, everything is so commercialized. I feel like it's not as authentic, I guess, as in Sevilla. Like it's more of a spectacle, like a show. Especially the Cabalgata and the Three Kings Day is very people bring ladders because you can't see. It's like a concert, you know?
What?
There's they put up barriers so you can't get really close. It's just really far away and it's hard to see. So I was expecting something like that, but it was not like that yesterday. They put up some barriers, but you could still kind of get close to it and see it. I got in the front row a few times and it was very cool to see. And we were in Puerta de Sol, the main square in Madrid.
Oh,
So it was
oh,
crazy to see them just going through the busiest part of Madrid.
that
So
I
many
would like to
tourists.
see myself. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people didn't really want to be there. I think they just got caught in the huge crowd because there was so many people complaining in different languages. French people, Italian people, they were just trying to get out or go to the next thing, but you can't hardly move. If you guys have ever been in a Semana Santa in Spain, it's you don't really get anywhere fast.
You don't get anywhere fast here in Alicante during Semana Santa, but you do get somewhere. Like, you don't really get trapped in a vehicle, yes, but if you're a
Oh, yeah.
pedestrian, you can kinda, like, slip your way through, and if you take some detours, yeah. Like, there's no, like, one-way walking streets where there's a lot of people crammed and you're forced to follow this stream. You can
Uh-huh.
go wherever you want. You just need to
Yeah.
nudge your way through.
Which is always fun. But yeah, I'm happy. I love this time of year. It's starting to get warmer and you just have this energy after the winter that is exciting, and I'm ready
Even
for
though
summer. The summer heat.
I'm al I am also ready for the summer. The temperature has dipped a tad here. It feels a tad
Same.
colder.
Ooh,
Yeah?
it was so cold yesterday, yeah. I had a winter coat on, which is fine, you know? Like, I'm not really ready for the heat yet. I'm was joking, but it's always nice to have the change of weather. I didn't get that in California, and I always laughed at people that were like, "I love change of seasons." Like, you just love it because you have no other choice, but I've realized there is something to it that's it gives you a hope, I guess. Something to look
The
forward to.
the hard contrast, I don't miss going through it, the changing seasons in Norway, but I do miss the feeling of spring. It is such a powerful sensation to see that the ground is drying up, the snow is
Melting.
melting, and
Mhm.
then you kinda get, like, this in between days where the snow has almost melted away, but there's some there, but the ground is somehow dry, and you're not wearing your winter coat anymore. You're wearing, like, a spring or fall jacket, and it
Yeah.
gives you hope, as you said. It's, like, right before summer. You can, like, smell nature. I love that feeling.
The problem is it just doesn't last very long, or it to me, it doesn't last long enough.
It doesn't, and, hey, look at me, look where I am. We have changing seasons here, but not as hard, and I'm totally okay with that
Yeah.
trade-off.
Let's get into it. Our first segment. So, eating at home versus going out to eat. So, did we eat at home or in restaurants more as kids? When I was thinking about this, I think it totally depends on the parents and the parenting style of who raised you. Because if you don't have money, of course, you're going to go with the cheaper route. But also, I think just as kids, typically you eat at home more, at least if you're a close family and it's something that, I don't know, food always brings people together. And so it's something that at my house, we always ate at home. Even on the weekends, we didn't really go out to eat. At restaurants is very expensive in the US. It always has been. So we would only go out to eat if we were on vacation. Well, I guess McDonald's doesn't really count as going out to eat, but we would rarely get McDonald's when we were getting babysat by someone. Something that McDonald's did really well, and they probably still do this, they would have promotions of the Happy Meal. I don't know, I'm sure you know what
Oh,
a
the
Happy
Happy
Meal.
Meal toys, yeah.
My parents wouldn't take me unless it was something good. They gave out Beanie Babies or some kind of awesome, like, toy that we really wanted. They also did Monopoly too. So maybe we did go more than I thought because they always had something, some reason to suck you in and make you buy a Happy Meal. So we would go for that. We went to Taco Bell. Do you know Taco Bell?
Yeah, we didn't have it in Norway. I tried it for the first time here in Spain, but I always knew what it was because it was
Okay.
portrayed in all the movies. And one small observation, have you seen the movie Demolition Man from the late 90s with Sylvester Stallone?
No.
He's this cop that gets framed, and then they freeze him down in this, like, cryo freezer or whatever it's called, and then he gets defrosted in the future, like, 20 or
Mm.
30 years later. Taco Bell has taken all of the restaurants in the US, so there are no restaurants, there's just Taco Bells everywhere.
What? Yeah, everyone always says, like, they learn so much about American culture through movies, but I guess it's because 'cause I'm not looking out for it, but, like, stuff like that, I would never like, I have never noticed. Like, Taco Bell, that's was it called Taco Bell, or did they change the name?
No, 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 it was like a in-movie commercial, and get this,
Yeah.
because it was set in the future, so they had changed the logo, obviously, to something more futuristic or different, and then in real life,
They used
they
it.
actually changed. Yeah, like, once it was time for rebranding, they rebranded to
That's
something
cool.
similar.
I like that actually. Taco Bell was a normal part of my childhood because it was fast and we would just like on the way to sports games or something, we would stop and get Taco Bell. They always messed up our order, so I don't know why we kept going back because my dad always got so mad. They wouldn't give us everything we ordered, you know, we would order like 10 tacos or something and they would give us 8. They were notorious for just messing up, but we still went. And then we did go to this one restaurant. Did you guys have buffets in Norway? Or do you know what a buffet is?
Well, I lived out on the countryside, so you didn't see it that often, but yeah, 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 buffet
Yeah.
as a
The
concept,
concept?
you pay and then you have access to go serve yourself several times.
Exactly. So, buffets are very popular in the US. We had one in our town where I grew up, and for kids, they charged 1 penny per pound, like kilo, whatever. You guys use kilos. So, I weighed 40 pounds, so my dad would pay 40 cents for me to eat.
But did they have, like, a scale that they put the kids
Yes,
on?
yes. Yes,
No,
yes.
no way.
It's crazy, but my dad would take us there because it was so cheap.
Yeah, but
I
the
don't
kid
know,
doesn't
they
weigh a
stopped
lot.
doing it. But yes, that was one exception that we would go to the buffet because my dad would pay like 50 cents for each of us, less than $1.
Buffet, was it like, I don't know, Chinese food buffet or American food buffet or Indian buffet, or was it just a variety of different cuisines?
Buffets in the US are typically just a little bit of everything, or there's Chinese buffets. Between American food and, like, a specifically Chinese buffet, there's not really any other varieties. There's always a salad bar and then meats and whatever else.
I
Anything
see
else
a
you could
lot.
ever want.
Like, I see a lot of Asian buffets, but they're just called, like, Asian buffet here in
Mhm.
Alicante, and they seem to have grown a bit too fast at some point, because earlier, I would notice a lot of locations that would just shut
Closing.
down.
I don't think it's very profitable. I don't really know how they stay, because people would eat, like, fill their plate, like, round it out, and go up, like, 5 or 6 times. They would get their money's worth for sure.
Huh. Now, I haven't been to a buffet, like Asian buffet in 2 or 3 years. No, I'm lying. I went to one the other day. It had been,
Yeah.
but then we went the other day. But it was a
Huh.
buffet where you need to order from the waiter. There's no
Okay.
place you just go and help yourself. And it wasn't that expensive either. And some items you can order once, some you can't. And then you have the
That's not a buffet then,
unlimited
that's all you
ones.
can eat, right? Like, I think there's a difference.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I stand corrected. It was like a all you can eat. It wasn't a buffet.
But that concept is better, I think. It's like it's more hygienic. Buffets
Oh,
are
yeah.
disgusting. People just, like, stick
Oh,
their
yeah.
hands in.
And the kids, they send the kids to
Oh,
help themselves, and they
they're, like,
basically
squeezing
mash their
everything.
head. Yes, yes. And there's no sneeze
Disgusting.
guard either. They just like there's no
No.
protection.
Yeah. So, what was your experience with eating at home versus restaurants? Did you mostly eat at home as a kid?
Yes, I lived out on the countryside. You could drive half an hour where there would be restaurants. But that was a small town as well. There was no McDonald's. There were some unknown equivalent offers there, like to go buy burgers and whatnot. But in terms of like brands, as you can hear,
Mhm.
like I'm referencing movies immediately when we talk about famous franchises. And that's kind of what you
Yeah.
wanted to do as a kid. You wanted to go to Taco Bell, but there weren't any Taco Bells. You wanted to go to McDonald's, but you need to go to, I don't know, the capital or somewhere like really far away from where you live. We did have Burger King. You need to drive 1.5 hour, and that was like the next best thing.
So that was like
So
a treat for you guys to
that
go
was
to
an
get
event.
fast food.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, you did not
Huh.
do that very often. As a teenager, I moved to the closest town to go to high school, and after that, when I was, like, 19, 20, I moved away to, like, a proper city that had, like, McDonald's and Burger King, but still not talk about this because it doesn't exist in Norway, or it didn't at that point.
Mm.
Around the same time, there were a lot of kebab joints that started coming to, like, close to my local town, which I didn't grow up with. Yeah,
Were there a lot of Middle Eastern people there? Or, like, why
now that
kebab?
it's just very popular. A good amount of Middle Eastern people would come and start places. Like, a
Mhm.
typical thing would be a Turkish pizza place that we had in one of the towns close by. You had
Mhm.
the Chinese restaurant as well. That I think they had a boom in the 80s, actually, Chinese restaurants or, like, Asian places in
Mm.
Norway. So for me, going out to eat, that was absolute an event. It was not a weekly thing, maybe not even
You
monthly. It was you go out to celebrate someone's birthday. or there's an event. It was not, let's pick up food on the go. Maybe at a gas station, you could pick up like a hot dog or a burger, but I didn't do it as a kid. No, it was like an event every time for me.
Yeah. Well, and it's like you don't have money as a kid, so you can't just choose to go to the you can't just choose to go to the gas station unless you have money.
Here's the thing. When I grew up, I had a stepsister or two stepsisters. They would come and stay with us every other weekend. And they lived in the local town that had a couple of gas stations, a place to buy a burger, etc. There was nothing in my town.
Mhm,
And I was always baffled of them going there on their own with their allowance or asking for money and going there and buying food to eat
mhm.
by themselves. Like, that was like a foreign concept for me as a preteen or early teenager to do. They're like,
Yeah,
"Yeah, I like this
yeah.
burger," and I usually have like this hamburger sauce or dressing, and I was like, "You're so independent." I'm aware I sound like a hillbilly. I have gotten a few experiences since then, but that was the outline.
Sure. Like, maybe the typical Norwegian experience, you would say, unless you live in Oslo.
Unless you live in a place that has, let's say, more than like 20 or 30,000 inhabitants. Now, my observation is you will see some of these places in smaller towns, but growing up, it was more a thing in bigger towns or cities.
That makes sense. The good old days.
The good old days.
Well, contrasting that with the Spanish experience with my boyfriend, so I can speak on his experience, but it was very normal to go out to eat back then, like it is now. A lot of people nowadays here go to restaurants or go to bars. He said he would go regular like, it was just something that they would do with family, and it's just more affordable, I think, here, and you have good quality, good options.
I haven't asked any Spaniard how it was when they were growing up. My
Mhm.
observation, how things are now, is how you're describing. Like, you will go out to eat with the family fairly often, not every day. There is the
Right.
option of just having something to nibble on or having like a
Full meal.
proper. I will say this, there's a lot of fried food outside because, as with a lot of countries, I assume, you tend to maybe eat a tad more healthy, and when you go out, you eat a tad less healthy because it's not with the same objective. It's like to have that nice fatty
More for the experience.
experience.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
to enjoy.